Samus, start by searching areas you can access with your current equipment. We'll determine weapon and equipment authorization after we get a better understanding of the situation.
Once again, why is Samus's non-lethal equipment unauthorized? This section of the game actually causes the lack of authorization for the Varia suit to make even less sense. The Varia suit is unavailable. Given all the lava, the pyrosphere is rather hot. Hot enough to continuously damage Samus's suit. Remember that the Varia suit is only unavailable because Adam told us we couldn't use it. Adam does not bother to authorize the Varia suit until this section's boss fight. Samus is willingly harming herself because the Varia suit has not been authorized yet. She is willingly harming herself. First, Adam, ignoring why the Varia suit was unauthorized in the first place, why the hell did you not authorize the Varia suit the moment you saw lava? You can't say that you didn't know because you can see everything Samus sees. What kind of shit CO sends one of their soldiers into an area without the proper equipment? Imagine you're fighting in the Civil War and your general goes, "Alright men, time to go to battle. Remember that while you have guns on your person, you're not allowed to use them. If someone shoots you, you just have to deal with it." Second, why is Samus following his orders? Some may say that she's just being a good soldier. First, she is not officially under Adam's command. She is more or less a civilian who's here of her own accord. Samus is under no obligation, legal, moral, or otherwise, to follow Adam's orders. She follows those orders of her own volition. Doesn't the whole, you must follow your CO's orders to a T even if you don't understand the reasoning behind them mentality operate under the assumption that the CO knows what they're doing? Yeah, Adam does not know what he's doing. If he did, then the Varia suit would have been authorized by now. It's also worth noting that even when under the command of a proper CO, Samus seems more than willing to break orders should the need arise. Take Metroid Fusion, where Samus breaking orders is the entire reason she's able to figure out that the Galactic Federation is breeding Metroids. Going back to why Samus follows Adam's orders. As far as I can tell, it's because she wants to get back into Adam's good graces. Because she likes the guy, for some reason. Yeah, I don't get the appeal. Well, sure, Samus goes on and on about how Adam was a father figure to her, but we never see this relationship. The game likes telling more than likes showing, after all. Since the beginning of the game, Adam has shown nothing but contempt for Samus, be it by the endless glaring or by saying shit like this.
You don't move unless I say so, and you don't fire until I say so.
Hell, even in the flashbacks, we don't really see any positive interactions between Adam and Samus. The only time Adam has ever shown any positive emotions towards Samus is near the end of the game. So anyway, Samus comes across a grapple point. Rather than authorize the grapple beam, Adam instead sends Samus to Sector 2. In Sector 2, Samus comes across a creature that she claims shows signs of Metroid predation. So, Metroids ate this creature, huh? Well, good thing we never encounter a single Metroid in Sector 2. Later in the sector, Samus comes across the body of a Marine. Samus also spots a woman in a building. Said woman is terrified of Samus because she thinks that the Galactic Federation wants to silence everyone on the bottle ship.
How can I trust you when your troops are willing to kill each other?
Oh my god, we have traitors. Oh, the horror. Samus tries to calm down the woman, but the traitor attacks in what is essentially a robot forklift.
He tried to kill me with a forklift. Olé!
So after all this, Samus is sent back to Sector 3 by Adam. Well, that was a pointless detour. During an elevator ride, Samus monologues about the traitor. Basically, he's a Galactic Federation mole sent to kill Adam's men, as well as cover up what happened on the bottle ship.
Until I found out who it was, I decided to call the traitor the Deleter.
And that's a stupid name. The weird thing about the scene is that Samus never talks with Adam about the traitor. Adam clearly knows because he can see everything Samus can, but there's never one word uttered between the two about it. Never.
Either way, I knew I had to protect her. She would be targeted again.
Hence why you left her alone to go to Sector 3. Samus gets to Sector 3 and she comes across Anthony fighting this creature. Anthony almost gets plunged into lava. It's here where Adam authorizes the grapple beam.
Get to Anthony and cover it.
So tell me, Samus, what if Adam didn't authorize the grapple beam? Would you have let Anthony die right there? Samus saves Anthony and he tells us why he's in the pyrosphere.
So you get called out here too?
Called?
Commander gave us a new directive to move as a unit. Our gather point was a navigation booth near here, but when no one showed, I figured I'd just take a look around.
I mean, Adam probably could have picked a safer place for everyone to meet up. One of his men did just almost die.
We were heading to the geothermal power plant to open the magma eruption port. Gotta restore the power in this place so I can see that pretty face of yours. Yeah, it seemed a little excessive to send the whole unit to do it, but he's the commander. He must have had a reason.
Well, in my experience, he seems to be kind of a dumbass. We get a flashback of an incident that occurred while Samus was under Adam's command. During what appears to be a rescue mission, Ian, Adam's brother, is doing a routine fix on a drive unit before said unit goes critical. Adam orders for the drive unit to be disengaged, more or less sacrificing Ian to save the survivors.
Adam, I can reach him. Give me the order, please.
Lock and secure the shielding doors now.
You know, for a guy who's killing his brother, he's not exactly showing much emotion. If any emotion. Not even subdued emotions. He feels less like a man who can keep his emotions in check and more like a robot who does not understand those human emotions.
We're out of time, sir!
Adam, please, let me go. You have to trust me. Just give me a chance.
Ass shot. What exactly are you planning on doing, Samus? Are you planning on getting suited up, grabbing a ship, if there are any, getting to Ian, rescuing Ian, and getting back here before the drive unit explodes? You know, in most scenes like this, you at least get the impression that a rescue could be possible, but that the risk is so high that the sacrifice is deemed necessary. Here, that rescue is just straight up impossible. The game wants to show one clear message. Samus wrong, Adam right. Samus is childish. Adam is a parental figure who knows best. I want to compare this scene to the Adam described in Metroid Fusion. In Fusion, Samus talks about how Adam was relentless in his criticism, but that he did care about the people he criticized. He was not just a machine obsessed with duty. The Adam in this cutscene does feel like a machine obsessed with duty. For one, he seems to have a general lack of emotion. Beyond that, does this seem like a man who cares and is compassionate towards others?
Please let me go. I mean, that's Ian. That's your little brother out there.
We're out of time, sir!
Adam, please let me go. You have to trust me. Just give me a chance.
Commence drive unit disposal immediately. That's an order.
Samus has to see one of her friends more or less being sentenced to death. Like, I get it, Adam cares for Ian as well, but Adam seems to be taking his death rather well. Samus is not. Adam offers no words of comfort, he just ignores her and sends Ian to his death. He doesn't go, Samus, I'm sorry, but we can't take the risk. He just says nothing. Hell, the proper thing for a CO to do in a case like this is probably to just deny Samus's request instead of this silent treatment. So anyway, Ian dies and Samus calls herself childish again.
I was childish.
In the arms of the angel.
Man, did something like that happen now?
Foreshadowing! Samus keeps going along in Sector 3 and she comes across the body of not Ridley. Seriously, that thing looks so much like Ridley, it's ridiculous. And now we're getting to, by far, the most controversial scene in the entire game. Basically, Ridley shows up and Samus, well...
Ridley?
Yeah, she literally turns into a 3-year-old.
Samus, use your plasma beam! No! What's your status?
It can't be!
Samus, do you read me?
Like I said, the suit disappears during emotional distress. And this scene kind of shows why that's a design flaw you might want to iron out. Anthony fires at Ridley and now Samus falls to the ground. In a rather goofy manner, I'd have to say. Gotta show off them glutes!
Man, you got no stop!
I think I gotta teach you a lesson about settlement.
Teach the game, please. Anthony is supposedly killed, and then Samus goes after Ridley.
In the arms of the angel.
After the boss fight, Ridley escapes. Alright, let's discuss this scene. The main issue I have with this scene is a lack of context. There is no reason given for Samus's panic attacks. But Samus is scared of Ridley because he killed her parents. Ridley killing Samus's parents is never mentioned once in this game. Samus mentioned her dead parents once, but there is no mention of Ridley being a part of that. This game makes sure to recap the events of both Super Metroid and even Metroid 2 at one point, and yet it never bothers to mention that little factoid. The only time Ridley killing Samus's parents is ever mentioned in this franchise, as far as I can tell, is during the Metroid manga and in a Brawl trophy. The Metroid manga doesn't even have an official translation. Beyond that, Samus has encountered Ridley on several occasions, and Samus has never had a panic attack. The previous games could not have shown Samus having a panic attack because of technical limitations. 1. Technical limitations don't change what actually happened in the games. And 2, I'm fairly certain they could have shown Samus being scared by Ridley. As I've mentioned before, Super Metroid is one of the best examples of telling a story through gameplay. Why couldn't they do something like with Mother Brain, but with Ridley? Plus, in Zero Mission, the bosses have little intros like this. Couldn't they have Samus flashing back to her parents' death or something? Samus being terrified of Ridley makes no sense given the continuity. Another thing about this scene though is that if we're using the manga to explain it, it opens up even more issues. First, while a young Samus does freeze up when seeing Ridley again in the manga, I would argue that the scene works far better than the one in Other M. First, the manga takes place before Zero Mission, so it works far better from a continuity perspective. Samus overcame her fear in the manga, and watch, after every fight with Ridley after the events of the manga, it's the Ridley in Other M that causes her to have an episode. Ridley has been resurrected so many times at this point that Samus being surprised that he's alive again is like Batman being surprised that the Joker escaped from Arkham. Beyond that, why didn't Samus have a panic attack after the first time Ridley came back? There is no mention of Samus even being unnerved by Ridley's unexpected recovery from death at any point, really. The only line about Ridley in the entire game before this scene is this.
Thanks to the hyper beam, which was given to me somehow by the baby, I laid Mother Brain to waste. And the explosion that followed destroyed planet Zebes, along with the remains of Mother Brain, the space pirates, and my long-standing nemesis, Ridley.
No mention of parents being murdered, no mention of Ridley being anything more than just a nemesis. But wait, Samus has PTSD. The manga even mentions PTSD specifically. This event is her having an episode. Triggers can be unpredictable and you don't really get over PTSD. So you're telling me that Samus has a PTSD episode in the manga, manages to confront the source of her trauma and kill him, encounters said source of trauma 4 more times with no episode, and then in Other M she's having an episode again. The only real evidence that Samus has PTSD is the manga, and even though I like the manga better, I would still not call it medically accurate, but at least unlike Other M, the PTSD is actually mentioned. If it is PTSD in Other M, then 1, it's not medically accurate, and 2, good lord, is it poorly communicated. As mentioned before, there is no context. Before this scene, there is not even the slightest hint that Samus could react this way to Ridley. She has 1 line about him. Beyond that though, we should not need outside information for this scene to make sense. We should not need to know about the Metroid manga to enjoy this scene. We should not need to have read Ridley's Brawl trophy to enjoy this scene. But I have another question about this scene. If Samus is so scared by Ridley that the sight of him gives her a panic attack that almost gets her killed, then how the hell is Samus in any condition to fight Ridley? Samus has a panic attack, Anthony supposedly dies, and then Samus immediately gets over her panic attack with it never being mentioned again in the game. And once again, the manga does it better. Samus actually has to work to overcome her fear. She needs emotional support. She needs time. In the manga, she sees sees Ridley, has a flashback to her parents' death, and she only comes out of her panic attack after she manages to get away from Ridley. Here, she just gets over it and starts fighting Ridley. Like, if the manga shows anything, it shows that this scene could have worked under different circumstances. But here, it just falls flat. The scene itself has no context, so just looking at this game by itself, you're given no reason why Samus reacts the way she does. The outside continuity just makes it worse. And look, I'm not saying that Samus can never be scared. Just maybe do it more like in Metroid Fusion, where said fear and tension actually made sense and didn't contradict previous characterization. But some might say, but Samus was a blank slate before, she didn't have a character, so how can this game contradict it? Characterization isn't only delivered through dialogue, it can also be delivered through game mechanics. Character design and animation can even tell you quite a bit about a character. However, the most important venue of characterization is character actions. What a character does tells you more about a character's values and personality than anything else. I'll go into Samus as a character more in a later video, but while Samus has never had super complex characterization, that doesn't mean she is completely without character. That being said though, even if Other M was the only Metroid game in existence, this Samus would still be a bad character. She is a protagonist with no agency. She achieves almost nothing. The Deleter was killed by MB. The Metroids that the Galactic Federation were breeding were killed by Adam. Oh yeah, the Galactic Federation was breeding Metroids. Spoilers. Ridley was killed by the Queen Metroid. MB, the main villain essentially, was killed by Galactic Federation soldiers. What did Samus actually accomplish in this game? Well, she killed the Queen Metroid. The Samus here is bland, poorly written, and despite being the protagonist, almost does nothing. The Samus we are shown here not only spits in the face of the Samus that we have been shown before, but even just standing alone, she's an uninteresting character.
Sir! Adam, please, let me go. You have to trust me. Just give me a chance.
Nope. Dead.